Hey guys, it's been ages since I posted a video on this channel, and that's really because I've set up my other knife channel, which I'll put a link in the box below, and I've mostly been making knives, so my other projects have kind of had to take a little step aside, but the knife making is going really well. I'm getting plenty of commissions, and I seem to have been pretty busy with it at the moment. I'm still doing other outside work, my building work and stuff like that, but it's kind of shrinking, which is good. Hopefully I can just concentrate on knife making and things I like doing. Well, I'm just going to show you this rocket stove pizza oven which I built, which I showed in a previous video. I'll put a link to the previous video in the description box, and there wasn't much information given on that because I was actually still working on it, rubbing my hands because it's cold. I've just lit the rocket stove. Yeah, so that I didn't give much information on that because I was still working on it, and there's no point, you know, giving you loads of information on how I make it when it's just constantly changing and evolving, because I kind of feel I'll cheat people if I show them, oh, this is how you do it, then I change it, then a few people make it, and they're going to be a bit pissed because it could be better. So right, this is the basic of the oven, and it's nothing more than a metal box. I'm going to assemble this, so I'm just going to show it you at this stage, and that's all it is. It's literally a metal box, and we've got which is that deep. Right, so the heat riser comes in on the bottom, hits the bottom shelf, and you get the heat coming out the front. And when I first made this one, which I show on the previous video, there's a bigger gap there because what I originally did, I had the heat coming in under the stone, then it went up a cavity in the back, came up, and there was a chimney on top, and it worked okay, but it wasn't as hot as it could be. And then I realised the damn thing was burning so clean, there was no need to have a chimney on top, absolutely no need whatsoever. So I capped the chimney off, and I just had the heat coming out the front of the stove because it's a pizza oven, and you know, you want to cook the pizza in wood. So all I was creating was a hot oven. So that's why I took the flue off the top, because most pizza ovens, you'll have seen them, they have a flue on the top so that the gas can get out, the smoke and the gas. Well, this rocket stove doesn't produce smoke, so you haven't got tons of smoke billowing out the front. It literally just produces heat. So they're the sides, and that's it, the box. Now the shell, the bottom shell, is cordierite, and this is cordierite, and this has been in my original pizza oven now for what, five months maybe. Absolutely superb stuff. I did cast my own refractory, but this stuff's better. The only trouble with the refractory was because it's not as tight as this cordierite stone, it's not as tightly bonded, you'll get little tiny bits and pieces of the refractory or the grog coming off it, you know, as you wipe it clean and this, that and the other, and you don't want grog on your pizza really. So that stone literally sits on there, your heat comes in underneath the stone, and there's a gap at the back there of about 3 inches that the heat comes off. Now this oven is taller than it needs to be because it accommodates 2 shelves. So you have a shelf there with about 3 inches over the top, and a shelf on the bottom with about 3 inches over it. That's your first one. You have your second one there. It doesn't need 2 shelves in it, but I thought, what a great idea, you know. I don't know many little compact pizza ovens like this that you can actually cook 2 pizzas on at once. Now this oven with the burner I've developed will reach 400 centigrade just easily. It's not a problem, and you will do that on a bundle of sticks, and I'm talking about this log. Let's say this log, if I chop that up into sticks, and I had another piece half the size, that much fuel will heat both them stones to 400 centigrade in about 15-20 minutes, something like that. And all you need then to maintain the heat in the oven is about that much fuel. So once the stove's up to temperature, I tend to just put one little log in that big, which just maintains the temperature. If you keep piling fuel in, the temperature will just keep rising and rising and rising, and it starts creeping up to 500 and beyond. And when the stone gets above 500, the pizza starts to burn. The pizza does burn, it just goes black. The stone is so hot that as soon as you put the pizza in, the base just burns black straight away before the dough's even cooked, before the top's melted or anything. So there is a temperature on these things, and 400 degrees or maybe 375 is absolutely superb, because it will cook the pizza in 2 minutes. The pizza is beautiful, the base is crispy, the dough is cooked and risen, and the topping's melted. And I've been having pizzas every Saturday since I built this stove, and they are beautiful. Make your own dough, put whatever you want on the toppings. But yeah, so I'm gonna carry on with this little stove. I've got a few knife commissions now that I just need to get sorted out, and I'm going to assemble this, get it put together, and then I will show you the burner. The burner is very, very simple. It's a 5-inch pipe. It's about yay length, 13-14 inches tall, the actual riser, with a 4 or 5-inch firebox on the front of it. This is what took the most time in developing this little rocket stove pizza oven. The burner seemed to take forever. I built the first one, I built the second one, I built the third one, and on and on and on, and I kept revising it, I kept making changes, because I just wanted it to be the best it could be. And it is now at a point where I know I can't make it any better. If you get my drift, you can't get any more heat out of this thing now. The secret, if you like, to a clean burning rocket stove is a long riser. The longer the riser, the more the flame and the heat and the gases are inside that riser, and they are subject to that heat, the cleaner the burn is going to be. If you have a riser that's maybe 5-6 foot tall on your rocket stove, it'll just produce beautiful clean heat. There'll be very little coming out the riser. The more you shorten the riser, there's less time for the gases and everything to combust inside. So what you kind of get is you'll get black, unburnt combustion coming out the top. But what I've done, I've kind of developed the firebox and riser to counteract that by putting plenty of oxygen in. So and created I've created a small mouth into the riser, putting more oxygen in than you need to, putting secondary air in and tertiary air in, if I've pronounced that correctly. So there's a lot of air sources going into this riser, which means that it burns really, really clean. Also, the way to counteract this is to burn sticks and not overload the firebox. And with rocket stoves, with all rocket stoves really, you need to learn how to burn them and how to use them, because it's just not like a conventional wood stove where you get the fire going and then you pile a load of wood in. That's not the way a rocket stove works. To get a rocket stove burning efficiently, you have to start with a small fire, and rocket stoves love thin sticks, a big surface area around the fuel that can, you can draw plenty of air through the fuel. Once you start loading big logs into a rocket stove, if the firebox isn't hot, if the riser's not hot, you'll kind of overload it. You won't get enough oxygen through the fuel. So this little rocket stove thrives on sticks half an inch, sticks an inch in diameter, something like that. It absolutely loves them. And once it's up to temperature, as I say, which doesn't take long, maybe 5-10 minutes, you can then just start putting logs in of about, well, they're not even logs, are they? They're kind of branches of about 2.5, maximum about 3 inches in diameter. You just put one of them in on the coals and that will then maintain the temperature. There's no point overloading it, as I said, because you'll just burn your pizza, you'll burn your food. It's really counterproductive. So I'll put this together, then I'll show you the burner. Okay guys, I'll just spin you around. My little rocket stove is here, my little workshop stove. You'll probably be shocked to find out that I've done absolutely nothing to it in the last 12 months. I've had a lot of questions about it. This is the door, which is off. It's actually off the first rocket stove that I made, I think. And that's what we're burning in it now. We've got a few logs in there. And we're now up to temperature here, and it's really warming the shop up now. That's what's inside. That log I just showed you, there's probably one of them, equivalent to one of them inside there. And I'll just load her up again, one more log. And I can put fuel on, like I was saying, you can put fuel on sort of that size once everything's up to temperature, once your firebox is up to temperature, once your riser's up to temperature, and it'll burn really slow. I lost a piece of glass there because the door just dropped down too many times. But I'm going to revisit this stove in the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to make another door. I am actually going to make a proper door, and I'm going to put another piece of glass in the top. I didn't weld that on, it's just a loose plate covering it, but I'm going to put a piece of glass in there, and I'll come back and I'll do another little question and answer thing about this rocket stove. It's performed faultlessly, guys, it really has. It's just such a good stove, you know. That stainless steel flue liner is still doing the job really well. It's actually much better than the original flue system I had, which ran along behind the bench. The gases, everything can get out much quicker. This flue still does run behind the bench, you can just see it there. Where are we? This side? Maybe see it. Comes out the bottom and it extends maybe halfway along my bench, then just does a turn and goes out. But yeah, that's where I'm up to. I'll get a bit more progress done on this and I'll come back and I'll show it to you. It's rocket stove season, isn't it? Everyone will be building rocket stoves, trying to get their workshops the hot. Or maybe they're out buildings, even maybe the houses. So a lot of people are asking me questions at the moment about rocket stoves. One of the most common things asked is about this damn Vortex. You know, people keep saying, does it matter which way the Vortex spins? Because if you're in the southern or the northern hemisphere or whatever it is, you know, the natural swirl of things, northern southerns that way, northern southerns this way. The effect, is it the Coriolis effect or something like that? The effect is so weak. It is really very, very weak effect, and it makes no difference at all to whichever way you want to spin the vortex inside the riser. Don't be misled by it, it's just insignificant. And that's really the last thing I'm going to say on it. So, right guys, I will see you quite soon. Hope everyone's well, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.